Hello, this is Raphael Jaba, and today I have a pretty fun project that I've made for my electrical engineering class at GHS. So what I have here is just a simple instrument that I made using my Arduino Uno. All it does is it can control pitch with these blue potentiometers and also use the other potentiometer to change the volume. And when you play the sound is controlled by that button. This project mainly focuses on one new component, the Piezo speaker. It's similar to many two-wire speakers that you'll find in some sound systems today, with there just being a positive and a negative wire for input-output. It basically just produces a square wave, and so what that means is that's pretty similar to the sound is pretty similar to what you would hear from something like an old arcade game. For the rest of the circuit, I have two other potentiometers, which you can see here in this schematic, and also a button and an LED, but it's not shown here because it's not really necessary for the circuit to function. So all this does is just play a range of frequencies at different volumes. This potentiometer right here, it controls the volume, and this one right here, it'll control the tone or the pitch. The Arduino board right here will basically just detect when the button is pressed and will only play the sound when it reads the button outputting the correct value. First potentiometer, just a way of variably limiting the power in a circuit. It's not connected to any inputs, unlike this potentiometer right here. Instead, it's just limiting the voltage that this piezo speaker right here is receiving. It's sort of like how you're restricting the flow of water by making a pipe smaller. That's the same thing that a potentiometer does. Next potentiometer actually has an extra wire connected to it so that its value can be read by this little sensor right here, or the analog input. It'll be used to determine what frequency or pitch is being played by this piezo speaker. And the LED is just to showcase when the notes are actually being played. The code for this project is pretty simple, or at least much shorter than my other projects. It's only about 33 lines long compared to some of the other code, which can get up to maybe 150 lines. Right here you can see that there's two sections, the void setup and then the void loop. The void setup will only run once in the beginning of the program. And right here, the first two things are the pin modes. These are used to set either input or output for the pins on the Arduino. Pin 2 is set to input because it will be receiving the button it's connected to the button. This should say input right here. And pin 11 is set to output because it'll be outputting the signal to the speaker. This right here, this is just so you can see the variables being printed. It'll show up in this area down here later on. And that is, of course, what is right here. Serial print ln analog read. This is analog read. That is basically just taking the input from one of my potentiometers and printing it to the serial monitor. That value will be used for the pitch for the speaker. And over here we have our main code. And by the way, everything in this void loop will continuously loop throughout the program, and the setup will not activate again. So in the if, it will only activate if digital read 2 is equal to 0. So that means only if the button is up, all this code will activate. And this basically just says that if the button's pressed down, then play the tone on pin 11 with the pitch from the potentiometer. And if that does not happen, which is seen by this else, then it will stop the tone. If this was not here, then this would just keep going and would just not stop, even if you took your hand off the button. And that is it for the code. You can see here I've now activated the serial monitor, which will be printing this value right here because of this line of code. You can see right now it's just printing out the same value, 249 or 250. And right now, if I turn my potentiometer, you can see that starts to go up. So that means a higher pitch and then a lower pitch. And so if I'm on the speaker right now, you can see as the number goes up, the pitch on the speaker will also go up.